I've been involved with barbecue, man, since I was a little boy, helping my daddy with his pit, cleaning everything out, lighting his fires.
I don't have like these cool barbecue stories. You know, I'm kind of like Kirby. You know, when I was growing up, it was like the grill came out on the 4th of July, Memorial Day. So like that was like the happiest days of like childhood right there. And I was just like, I think from that, I was like, well, I can't get more of this.
You know, why ain't we controlling this? Because we started it, right? So we got to speak our truths. And yeah, and that's how I got in the game. And I found Jeff, and you know, we hooked up a few times, and it's been history ever since, man. What up, everybody? Welcome to the Black Smoke Barbecue podcast. I hope you got your drinks. Hope you got your music. Relaxed. We about to do something here. So we're here to talk about live fire, and we got a great guest. But before we get to the guest today, let's go around the room and see who's on the pod with me. We got Jeff from Outdoors with Jeff. What up, man?
What's going on, Charlie? How you doing?
Pretty good. What you been up to?
Oh man, been getting some cooks in and just working and getting some cooks in, man. Staying busy.
Yes, sir. Nice to have you on the pod. We got Brandon from BKC Cooks. What up, man?
What's going on, Charlie? What's good?
Not much. Blessed and highly favored. How you doing over in your side of town?
Man, I am fantastic. I'm damn near spectacular. You understand?
Love it. Love it. Hey, we got T from T-Dubb Barbecue in the house. Newcomer to the group. What up, man?
What's happening, fellas? What's happening?
How you doing, brother?
Man, doing all right, man. Doing all right. Ready to get this thing going, and I'm excited, brother. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, that music gets you going right there.
What? Yeah.
Well, brothers, glad to have you. We have a great guest here. We were on his podcast on IG, The Unknown Black Pitmasters, and now we have him here to return the favor. Darren Carter from Carter Barbecue. What's up, brother?
Gentlemen. Dude, first of all, I need to hire you all to do an intro for me. That was dope. First of all, that's one of my favorite hooks from Jay-Z. I mean, you know, I love that. But then I'm about to call y'all. bring me up to the future. That's and that intro. I got a lot to learn. Good. Okay, we on a good show.
Yeah, we got to go off today, man. Thank you for coming on the pod. It was great being on yours, you know, to spread the word about us. We wanted to return the favor, you know.
Thank you.
Have you on, chop it up, pick your brain a little bit, give you some flowers while you're still here with us, you know. And we're going to ask you some questions. We're going to have some fun. And we're going to go around the table and just, you know, relax. So as I said earlier, get whatever your libations are in your cigar and just relax. We're about to talk live fire with a professional.
You're for
it. All right, so let's kick it off. I guess I'll ask the question first. So I mentioned the Unknown Black Pitmasters. Where did that name and that podcast, that show come from? What from your mind?
I'll give you the non-petty story, okay? But it did derive from a little pettiness, unfortunately. But I was in a group. A good friend of ours was a barbecue group, and some people were posting my, you know, YouTube videos, which aren't. I mean, compared to the gentleman that I'm sitting with right now on this video, my YouTube videos don't snuff. You know what I'm saying? But they were there. You know, I was trying to do that for a while, and it was being shown in this group, and all of a sudden they were being taken down, and I didn't understand. I thought I did something wrong. I reached out to him. The gentleman's my friend. He doesn't know this unless he hears this now, so sorry. But I didn't, you know, he was building his brand, and I'm like, well, okay, do you, man? I mean, it's no thing. So my point was, and I am a person that even in my character, I'm what they call I always consider myself a builder. I'm one who likes to get a foundation of something growing or starting something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, well, maybe one day I just have my own group, and I'll make sure that everybody can, you know, show what they have, do what they do. You know what I'm saying? Sell what they need to sell. Because the bottom line is, um, who am I? You know what I'm saying? I'm nobody. So I started to, at that point, I was really getting heavy into really diving into my barbecue business. And I had my wife and my family for a Christmas present of 19, bought me a ticket to a major on the circuit pitmaster world champion in Georgia his class.
Okay.
And I was like, woohoo. I'm like, you want to be the best, you got to learn from the best. I'm all pumped up, but COVID hit and we didn't go. But during that time, I had started finding out certain things, and I was looking for, I wonder if any Black people. And first of all, I was like, why am I not thinking about Black folks in the first place? Because, I had to be honest. When I first got into barbecue, Bobby Flay was my hero. Okay, his Southwest style. But I didn't know Rodney Scott or anybody like that at that point. Only person I really knew was Roger Mookie, who was showing me some people here and there. And that only came later, and that kind of ignited my, I guess, inquisitiveness of, okay, if there's Horn, I saw Horn. I didn't saw Rodney Scott later. The first one I saw was Matt Horn out of Oakland. The second one I saw was Dr. Conyers. And then the third one I saw was Kevin Bledsoe. And I said, okay, well, they got to be more than just this.
Right.
So I went down the rabbit hole and I was starting to look for Black pit masters, and I was trying to say, well, maybe I can get a class, from somebody, but nobody really had anything going at the time. But it led me to an article of the most influential barbecue people in the country. It was a Fox article, which that article is still in circulation, just updated yearly, but it has basically the same people there. People like us, and it was only 2 women. They were all of non-methylated color. And I'm like, I said, oh, well, okay. And I just kept searching. Then I saw another article from Southern Living. Now, Southern Living, the magazine, I call it a clapback. They probably wouldn't, but they clap back at that Fox article. So they put their most 12 influential people in barbecue history, period. That's how I learned about Henry Perry, the godfather or the father of the Kansas City style barbecue. I was like, really? All these folks talking about their Kansas City, but a Black man started that? I'm like, okay, now how much more? But the very first column of people that they had, the number one was, they called them the unknowns. They talked about how they tended the pits for their slaves and their family. They talked about after, the Civil War and Reconstruction, that was a way for them to have a way of life, having barbecue joints basically on the corner, on the street, selling barbecue, doing things, creating the way of what we know of barbecue is today. But they didn't really have no record of everybody. Obviously, slaves weren't record. Past Reconstruction, there were a lot of records that were even never there or destroyed. But the one line that got me was, we don't know their names, but we know they were there. So when I saw that, I was like, I'm going to create a group, and we're going to call it the Unknowns Black Pitmasters. And what I want to do with that group is to highlight and showcase Black pitmasters, barbecue enthusiasts, and tell and teach the history of Blacks in barbecue. Right. Come for what's ours. By that time, I had dove deeply into a lot of things that Dr. Conyers was putting out, Howard Conyers. So I was just resharing his stuff. I find an article or find something about somebody and just post it or do this. And it was a Facebook group, which still is open. But from there, that gave me it gave me a sense of satisfaction to a degree, because one, here's a group of people that nobody knew who I was per se as Carter's Barbecue. They just knew me as a dude who started this group, and that's the way that I wanted it. when we ventured to the other side, I'm seeing so much great stuff. The people were bringing stories and news articles and this and that. I remember there was an article that somebody told me about Brian Furman, and I was like, well, everybody needs to know about this too. I said, well, okay, let's start an IG page.
Okay.
And I said, we'll keep, some private conversations private or whatever in the Facebook group, but the things that are out there, let's share them. Let's share the history. Let's share this. Let's do that. So I started the IG page, and that's when that community started to really bolster and prosper. During that time, Erica Blair Robley, which is Blue Smoke Blair, as many people know her in the barbecue world, was on Food Network's The Barbecue Brawl, the second season.
Right.
So I don't really know her, but we had, simple conversation about something else before, because she's in Dayton, Ohio. I'm in Cleveland. I think I sent the message. Oh, we're in a text group together. So I on a whim, here's my life's philosophy: nothing beats a failure but a try.
That's right.
I was like, look, I know you all have finished filming. I don't know if you won, if you did, if you didn't, but however the case, if I have this page trying to do something, I would love to interview you and just talk about the competition and what you're doing and everything after it's over. I said, we could do that contractually, and I ain't got nothing to give you. I don't have anything to give you. This is just
set expectations.
Right. And everybody that I had sent out, it's like, look, this is starting. I'm building. I cannot compensate you. I can tell you that right now. I just cannot compensate you, and I still can't compensate you. Y'all know I ain't but it's just not that type of party for us right now. But she said, yeah, and I was like, really?
Wow. Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Now I was scared because I got barbecue giant.
You wasn't ready, were you?
Right.
No, I was not. And so she had asked anything we wanted to talk about, and I think she is the only person I had list for. She's the only person that I had list for, because I am. Look here, I hold no punches. I tell all tales. Well, not all tales, because some things, are grave worthy, but it's kind of how we roll. I grew up with ADHD, not having it, and not until I was 40, finding out, really getting diagnosed and going on. So, and it's still sometimes hard to manage. But I'm better on the fly than I am if I'm going point to point. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, so we'll do this. And we got there and we had a great conversation. People joined. Yeah, I think we mostly had about like 13 people in the room. I was like, wow, I got 13 people to join, to look at this. And, she's there, we're talking. And all the while, I'm talking to somebody who's been on TV.
Right.
I'm talking to somebody who's been in competitions. Wow.
That's big.
So from there, I was like, let me try somebody else. So the next person was a more familiar name to you as well, Eddie Wright. I reached out to him because he was a grant winner at that time, and I followed him on YouTube as well. And I was like, let's see if he'll say yeah. And he was like, sure. Like, 2 for 2. So, and from that point, right now, when you really look at the work that we've all done together, and I say done together because I couldn't do anything if all of you all said no. If y'all said we ain't talking to you, who am I gonna talk to? You know what I'm saying? If people said no, there would not be a community growing as it is. So I'm just, as much as indebted, to this whole thing and its growth as well because of everybody's participation. But I can proudly say more than likely we have the largest reservoir of stories, true to life stories of Black pitmasters and barbecue enthusiasts in the world, in this country, in the world. Modern day stories. Our culture is orator. We always, I don't even think that's a word. I scratch that. I ain't even the word, but you know what I'm saying? We like to tell our stories, and use verbiage to pass our stories down generation to generation to generation. But some of them get lost because they're not written down, they're not recorded, or whatever.
Right.
So here we're getting close to 50. We started probably the end of the pandemic year, like that October, November, and then I started back up of 21, and for the most part, it's kept growing and growing, and I can't tell you how I'm the people I've got the chance to meet, to talk to, including all of you all that are here. It's amazing, just amazing, and this really all started because somebody wanted to work on their brand and not support other people.
Yeah.
So to bring it back home, but all things work together for the good, I believe. You know what I'm saying? There are things that need to be pushed and need to be done, and I probably never would have thought about this if that didn't happen. So, there's obviously no angst. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that the mentality was, or is, or however it may be. But at that time, I'm grateful for that because this probably never would have been if that didn't happen to me.
And I tell you what, Darren, that's a great story because me and you have talked before about this and the fact of, when you look at things from a content creator side and you look at what you're doing, you kind of take it in the aspect of, you think about it more about the side of, okay, I'm doing this thing and you're doing what you put into it, but not necessarily what it means to everybody else. And with all the stories that you're collecting and what you're doing, I mean, you've got an encyclopedia literally that you're starting of Black barbecue and Black history in barbecue. And that hasn't been done before, from a standpoint of getting the folks that, that have national claim to the folks that are doing it in their backyard. You've had, I watch you all the time, man. You've had several, you have some moving guests on there. And the biggest thing, to kind of segue to what we talked about a little bit earlier in the pre-show is, give me your aspect of because you had a post a couple weeks ago that really, really touched me. It moved me because I reposted it myself where you talked about being caught up in life and getting caught up in the routine of life and not necessarily doing the things. You get so much caught up in the routine that you kind of hold off on the things that you want to do, and kind of explain to me what you meant with that. Cause that really hit me from that standpoint.
Man, I am not a content creator, right? You know what I'm saying? Hopefully to get better in the years to come as I have more time. But, I'm sitting at work doing my little training and I'm like, oh, I need to make a video. Cause you got to make a reel. You got to do this. You got to have something to try to be relevant, right? Yep. And it's like, I was like, oh, well. And then I was like, hey, it was just inspiration. I was like, ooh, okay, I want to walk by my trailer and I want to say something about living life. So then I got to, wrote down what I thought was a great script. It was a great thing. What you got was my wife versions because what she saw was, ooh, okay, it's gonna be better when I'm done. Hello, is it? Yes, let me be done. I'm like, oh. So, but the concept is, we grow up letting life get in the way instead of living it. We grow up, we do these things where we gotta go to school, we gotta get a work job, we gotta do this. Then we get caught, we get families, we gotta stay on the wheel, we stand on the hamster wheel or the turnstiles, we just continue to go around and around and around. And while we're in that rut, there's our dreams, our passions, the things that we are better at and passionate at than what we're doing to earn money. Or the things that would just make us happier. We talked earlier, getting the stress down by certain things. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things are out there to be lived. One of the things one of the things I used to do in my former life was I used to do graphic design. Um, it was okay. I had a little business at it, but you see, I'm not doing it no more, right? So you know how good that was.
Mhm.
Just took a break. That's all.
Yeah.
A long.
That's it. Just a break. You'll be back with that content
At
creation.
that point, everybody at least didn't have Photoshop as much. But now, I mean, shoot, you could do stuff on Canva. I was doing on Photoshop that time. So, oh, I'm sorry, I should even said them because they're not paying us no money. You scratch that. You know, so I did a lot of obituaries. And I used to hate. Well, and I don't want to say hate, but it bothered me that if you had a piece of paper and it was folded and it last, and it's folded, and your whole life didn't really take up this page.
Oh, man.
Wow.
You live to be
Thanks.
50, 60, 40, 80, whatever. And even if it was, an 11 by 18 or whatever folded, still this wasn't completely filled. But this, I told my wife, look, I don't care what you do. You could put me in the pine box. I don't care if you burn me. But my book, my program is gonna be thick because you gonna know what I did. You know what I'm saying? I say it jokingly and everything, but I'm serious. Yeah. I say I know the designer I want to do it if he outlives me. And I want my story. They ain't got to read it. Y'all ain't got to have the reading of the obituary because it's gonna take them a minute. But I want people to know that I lived. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing. It bothered me that, such and such was born here, blah, blah, blah. They went to this school or they graduated here. They went to this church, accepted the Lord Jesus Christ. They love going camping. They married, had 3 kids. They're survived by, they were a great member of this church. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I know there's more, you know what I'm saying? There obviously has to be a little bit more, but the point that your family can't get together and put down that more, that it's not that viable, that more isn't viable, that always bothered me. That always bothered me. So that is the premise of that particular will was take the leap, man, live.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Yeah, I just think you can get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. And with that being said, Darren, with everything that has come up and has come up so rapidly, how do you manage it all? Because I know, you're doing the stuff with the unknowns. You have your business and all the other endeavors that you have. What's it like managing all that? Plus with family, because I know it's a struggle for all of us who are doing what we do. And I know everyone does it in a different way. But what's it like for you?
Very difficult. Because there's always something taken away from something else at this point. That's why, I have decided in my mind at some point, somewhere, something has to give. But and something that has to give is not going to be what my passions are. Excuse me. We got my job. I work as a steel mill, steel worker here in Cleveland. And my schedule is just totally ridiculous. We switch from days to nights. It's 12-hour shifts. No week is ever the same. Basically, we work 4 days one week, 3 days the next week. But they're not concurrent. It's like today. I worked Monday and Tuesday. So I'm off tomorrow. That's the day is Tuesday. So I'm off Wednesday and Thursday. But then I got to go back for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then I'll be off for a couple of days working for, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how it goes. And every 30 days we switch from days to nights. Right. So it is weird. So with that, I have to fill my barbecue business in those gaps. So, there are food truck parks here that we get to, or where I have to do pop-ups. I got to make sure, okay, well, I'm not working that day. Okay. So when I send, to the schedule of these food truck parks, I only have like maybe 4 or 5 days and hey, can we do this, and this? And I'm not promised those, you know what I'm saying? And if they call like a day before, hey, can you fill in? No, I can't. I got to work. Or you can't call me that, too early. We know barbecue takes way too long for you to call me before. And if I ain't got nothing thought out, no, I'm done. But then, of course, then there's family.
Yep.
I have a 6-year-old. I had to make sure I do my stuff around the house because, and here again with the ADHD, sometimes when I get super focused on something, things drop. So it is a juggling act for me, and I'll be lying if I told you I did it well. I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to work it out. But the thing I do know, something has to give, and prayerfully it will give soon. So my focus won't be pushed some more because now I'm not giving really anything 100% that it needs to be. My job is not 100% because I'm thinking about my barbecue. My barbecue is not 100% because I got to work at my job. Those two take away from the family in general time. So, here it is. At this time in this recording, I'm 52 years old. And, it's just going to be what it's going to be for my life. It's decisions that I plan to make, or hopefully that will pan out, soon in the future, will help alleviate some of that. There's always going to be the stress. Because something else is going to take its space bigger. You know what I'm saying? So I just have to do that. I gotta juggle, and sometimes it's just sacrificing some things. I get home from work, trying to prep for, the next day to cook. But my boy, when I put him in bed, wants a story. I don't have time for a story. But I have to make time for a story.
Got to make time.
So there are those things. But what makes it not so abundantly pressurized and feel like I have the weight of 1,000 tons on my back is because a lot of it is passion work. My job, passion work. I could do that all day, every day. I get up at old dark 30 in the morning to go to work. I'm like, do we really have to do it? Do I really? I know I got to cook in the morning. I'm sitting there, I'm getting up. I may, be like, okay, let me get up a little because I'm old. I may have to want to stay in the bed a little bit.
So 7:30.
Right. Put that coffee on and get out there to get my stuff together. I didn't make sure I didn't clean out, burn you in the trailer and everything before I get out there and start smoking. Those things are passion. I'm thinking about things to do with the unknowns, trying to get people, to come on, kind of juggling that and trying to keep that page running, trying to, at least keep the stories running, find things for the stories. When you could flip, that takes time when you just get into Instagram land and valley. So I try to do that. Facebook, Instagram. Okay, look, I got my personal Instagram. I have my business Instagram. I have the Unknowns Instagram. I also have a dad's group and a group that I started, a community event that I started, all geared up a family bike event. It's a little community thing. It's been default, but last two are default. So I've really been doing those, but I have those. Then I got my personal Facebook. Then I got the business Facebook. And then unfortunately the Unknowns Facebook has been, it's been kind of a little people are still posting things, but I haven't been as well. I had to get back in there and because most of that has, went on to the IG set.
Right.
I need a social media manager. That's what I really need. I would be great. And so now,
I think we're all at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, dude, here I am now trying to plan an event in June, in Cleveland for a fundraiser that I'm hoping to get 300 to 500 people to come for. I don't know. I'm a glutton.
Hey, and wanted to talk about that because you really got some star power coming to that thing, man.
For real.
And I mean, if you want to give us the details on that and how you got that going, like, I mean, this is the thing, man. You really have some great ideas, and you've got some great ambitions. And
I got luck. I'm lucky, and for whatever reason, God thinks that I should be doing something like this. I guess I don't know, but
Hey,
I don't
but
know.
it's for a good cause though,
don't
man.
know.
I mean,
It is.
and you really like talk to us about the events you have coming up and who you got coming there as well.
So again, it ties into um, I got problems, y'all. Just let me explain. I got problems.
This is safe space. Come on now.
So, I'm doing the backpack. When the backpack drive, and this will lead up to this, trust me. When the backpack drive started, it actually started out as the first couple of years. It's always been called, birthday wish, whatever year. Okay. My birthday wish or birthday wish 2022 now. But when I started it, I asked people, I was 47, however many years ago that was. 46. I was dealing with 2 local suicide organizations, both of which I was very close to, another one I wanted to help as much as possible. And because as a young adult and as a teenager in high school and as a older man, I tried to commit. Well, the first one was really when I tried to commit suicide. Took a whole bunch of pills. Oh, I had a great sleep though. When I woke up, I wasn't so good, but I had a great sleep.
Well, we're glad you're still here with us.
Yeah.
Me too, right? I mean, after I think about it, it's like, cool, thank you. It's like, okay. But you think I would learn my lesson. But see, and these are the things that why I supported them, because depression is a real issue. Mm-hmm. Here again, having ADHD as a youth, and we have to be honest, our culture, we don't talk about the short bus. You just lazy or the this, you that.
That's right.
The whole gambit of that. And I never thought I was good enough, all this kind of stuff, right? So it made me there. And then the second time, it was just I don't know you all's religious affiliations or beliefs, but I do believe in Christ Jesus. And I believe that there are also forces that try to hinder you from reaching a purpose.
Yeah.
And it was just a perfect storm. My marriage was falling apart. Unemployed. It was just, even church was wrong. Everything that could be, I thought in my mind and what I saw was just falling apart or already destroyed. And it was destroyed or falling apart because of me. So I said, what the hell? Why, why even be here? But this is how things work. I'm going to do that. Well, it ain't this phone, but the phone I had, the person I had on here was my godson and my daughter. And it happened to just illuminate. And I look over and I see them. And I literally cried for at least 20 minutes. Literally for 20 minutes. After that point, I was like, you know what? I spent a lot of time in prayer and just geared up in my mind. It's like, you are better here than not.
Amen.
Yeah.
And so here comes, to why I'm a person of wanting to live. Life ain't promised. Live.
Right.
So with that, okay, yeah. So anyway, so those are the first 2 years. So then we became foster parents. I saw how my ideal isn't original, but we saw how kids come, especially when they come out of traumatic households or trauma. I mean, they come out of tumultuous households. Everything is they just kind of get clothes and grab them, put them in the bag and go. So at this point, it was like, well, at least we can give backpacks to our agency. And as they have kids to get intake in, they can have stuff ready. So they have a girl bag, boy bag. And as they get their stuff, they can get their stuff, throw it in the bag. Let's go. So they have something to carry. That's not a plastic bag, a trash bag. I mean, you'd already been pulled from your parents. You'd already seen, them fight, cuss, fuss, something happen. And you don't really understand as a young person, but all you know is you're not going to be with them. So let's get something familiar, So we've been doing that ever since. Via this the unknowns, Mr. Rasheed Phillips, who knew?
Wow.
We were talking. It was we hadn't got a chance to get interviewed. I hadn't had a chance to interview him yet, but he popped in a couple of times, and at that point I was, telling people about the backpack drive and everything, because and I was even reluctant to do that, because here again, I didn't want this platform to be about me at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I hardly ever, I do a little bit now because we are what we are and we talk about our businesses, but I never talked about my business. I never wore any merch. I never did anything of that. It was just about the people that were coming on or everybody else. And it's still 98% that way. And it's going to be that way as long as I can do that. So I was talking to the Jonathan Barbecue. Y'all know Jonathan Barbecue out of Arizona. And he chimed in, I'm like, okay. I was like, well, Rasheed Phillips want to be on. I'm just talking to Jonathan. Let me put him in. So at that point, Jonathan he gave me an exclusive and told him that he put, Smoking Hope. It's going full time at the beginning of the year. This was back in December. At the beginning of the year, he's made it a nonprofit. He's going full time. And I was like, I got an exclusive. Look at me. We're growing here, right? So Rasheed wanted to, he wanted to come in, and he was like, we talked about this before or whatever, because they kind of talk, but behind the scenes or whatever. And he said, I'm gonna give $1,000 to help start you off and everything to this, Smoking Hope. And I'm like, yeah. And then he was like, to you, sir, send me the information, because Santa still got something in his pocket. I remember it like it was yesterday, because he did his little Santa, his Pitmaster Santa thing. Like, Santa got something in his pocket, and we're going to give $1,000 for your backpack. And my mouth just dropped. I was like, what? Really? Seriously? And, John was like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know you. But I had Miss Sylvia on from there before there, a couple other things, and he did his research. You know what I'm saying? They looked at the link to make sure it was legit. You know what I'm saying? And all that kind of stuff. The next thing I know, the next day, 2 days later, I had boxes. Maybe I think it was probably over a little bit more $1,000 worth of books and backpacks and everything from him. He came through. So with that, here again, he likes to, he pops in a lot. A lot of times where I say, I'll be glad when I be able to do this in person one day, whatever. So we were talking to, I'm getting to your question.
Take your time, brother. Take your time.
Yeah. Oh, this is good.
Yeah.
I'm talking to JL the Pitmaster, and if anybody that is listening to this, JL the Pitmaster out of Arizona, if I could not put better into words. He had an eloquent, soulful. You thought the ancestors were speaking through him. About a minute and a half or 2 minutes worth of that is the Unknown's Black Pitmaster. So y'all go back.
I remember that episode, man.
Yeah. And I was just I would say one of the best. You don't really have a best per se, because hell, anybody I talk to is best to me, because I'm seeing these people on YouTube, I'm seeing these people on TV, I'm seeing these people, that got big fan bases, and I'm just Carter from Cleveland. You know what I mean? So, but in those brief moments of where he was talking about, he's doing it on the backs of the people that did it and so forth, going on. I don't think there was a dry eye in the room, But, and I said to him again, one day we're gonna be able to do this face to face. So Rasheed again comes in. He's saying, "Look, Miss Carter, I'm tired of you talking about, you want to see these people face to face. What you doing May 14th?" I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, I ain't doing nothing. If I got to
Check my
work,
Palm
I'm
Pilot.
not working. I'm trying to be cool. Oh, let me look at my calendar. Nothing. So details were getting to work out at the time, but what it ended up being, he invited me down to Corsicana, Texas, where Kevin's book had just came out, Kevin Bledsoe's book, and he was doing a book signing down there in his home where he lives in Texas. And with that, I was going to be able to meet some people. I got to meet Kevin. I got to meet Joey Victorian, who I did. Oh man, I was almost going to get a chance to meet Roger Mooking. He was supposed to be there as well, but unfortunately, he caught COVID a couple of days early, and I was like,
Yeah.
But I was thankful. I did get a chance to interview him, though. I did get a chance to talk to him, but I didn't get a chance to meet him in person. So he was like, so what it did for me is I got a chance to see some of these people I look up to, and I'm like, wow, learning some things. Because I was like, I ain't touching nothing. What you just need me to do, I am here to serve. Chop the wood, want to get this, want to get that. What you want me to do? Just tell me I'm here. Just what you need. And just to see them work and to see what they're doing, to be able to sit, and shoot the breeze with Kevin, other folks. And then I got a chance to meet Charles from Culinary Oasis Barbecue. He came down, got a chance to meet him. He's part of the community, and it was just like, wow. But then what I did see was that a few people can feed a whole bunch of folks. A lot of work got to go into it, but a few people can feed a whole bunch of folks. Right. So to bring it to your question, one of the things Rashida said that he would always support the backpack drive. This month though, I got to work for it though. I got to lose some pounds to get some stuff. So I don't know if y'all heard all about that, but I got to work for these backpacks this year. Work for them. But he had said, if you ever need me to come talk to the kids, if I ever can get it, to talk to them, maybe inspire them to do anything, just let me know. I'll be there. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. I was like, wow. All right. So I go home and I'm thinking, okay, well, what if we have a fundraiser? If we have a fundraiser. One, we can do much more for the kids throughout the year, maybe more clothes allotment money, maybe more gifts, during time or whatever it may be. They do get funded, you know what I'm saying? But this just would be a separate thing because they can always use more. Heck, they can just use it to get a staff an extra $50. I don't care because they need it. They ain't getting paid enough. You know what I'm saying? But something that would help them, help the foster kids. So I asked him, I was like, well, would you, I saw what you did in Corsicana. I didn't think I would be able to do something like that. I still don't, but I think we can do it. Would you, we can still give you time to, because I want to invite foster families and their kids. So you still can, have a time to talk to them and everything and do this. And we can kind of have the same type of setup, summer or whatever, if we can get it done. He was like, yeah, cool.
That's dope.
I'm like, really? I'm like, oh, okay. Here again, I'm like I'm back at the moment I was with Erica. You said, yeah, and I wasn't really expecting that. So now I ain't really thought this thing through. That's one thing I do. Sometimes I jump, maybe too fast, but it's okay. We figure it out. Yeah. So that's how that came out. And then with that, I was like, okay. I was talking to Kevin one day. I was like, yeah, Rashida's helping me with this thing. He's like, when? I was like, in June. And by the way, this event will be June 18th. This is the first public announcement of the date. It's June 18th, which is Father's Day, which is Father's Day of 2023.
Great Father's Day gift.
Right. Yes, that's what I think. I know some people won't, can't do things because they family may have something, but I know this can also be a Father's Day gift for people, and it's for a good cause. So when I told him, he was like, yeah, man, what's the date? Just let me know. What's the date? And one thing I could say about Kevin too is a lot of things when we were talking in Corsicana, he's like, what can we do to help you? What can we do to help you? And I'm like, what do you mean? What can you do to help you? Kevin freaking Bledsoe. What are you talking about? I don't know.
Wow, you can do anything.
I'm like, dude, I mean, you on TV shows, you got like mega restaurants, you down here chilling by the pond, and I'm sweating in the steel mill. I don't know, dude. You know, but he's like, yeah, we gonna do it. I asked Erica, and she said, yeah. And it's like, and I guess I can confirm, but I'll hold that. But we may have another Texas person coming as well. Okay. And I was trying to get, we are in Cleveland, so there's an Iron Chef here in Cleveland. I was attempting to get him because we're in Cleveland, no disrespect. But unfortunately, I got a response. I reached out to him on Twitter. His management company never called me but once to tell me no. But I reached out to him on Twitter. He was like, if I'm available, I would love to, but his schedule doesn't permit. So it's cool. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate the fact that he just even responded back to me. Maybe when he sees it actually come to fruition, maybe he'll be on board next year. People got to see stuff happen sometimes. Right. But yeah, so, and I may be looking to add one more, but then we got, a couple of people in the community want to come up and help, you know what I'm saying? And I got a couple of barbecue friends in Cleveland. I want, to be here, or at least to be recognized. So yeah, we going to do, it's tabbed as a barbecue pitmaster showcase, but we going to cook it up, feed the folks. They'll be able to mix and mingle with them, buy product from them, get signed autograph books from them, like Kevin or whatever. We'll be giving giveaways. Like right now, for certain, we got 3 master builds, whatever the biggest is. I don't know the name of it, but we got 3 of them we're going to give away. So there'll be products, you buy a ticket, you don't have to be there per se. Hopefully you are, but if you're not, we just have it sent to you. So they're going to be interviewed. We're going to have music. Trying to figure out if I can afford a band or a DJ at this point, but I just wanted to be a nice atmosphere. Let's get some great barbecue done by some OGs who are big in the business, and let's raise some money for some foster youth in Cleveland. And if I can pull this off, y'all, I will do this.
You
for
will.
me.
You will.
I will do this.
Yeah, for sure.
Down,
I'm not put up. I will get the biggest stogie I can find.
Yes, sir. Now, all I want to know is what type of footage should we expect from this event? Camera crew? No pressure?
No pressure. Well, I know. Well, if you all don't know yet, Rashid just has a traveling posse. Right. He has his already. I do have my brother-in-law.
Okay.
He is a camera and film guy. Him and another guy, Picks by Charlie, here in Cleveland. I have tasked him. I told him, and you better give me, we raising money for this. I got to get out. And that's another thing. Now I'm like trying to get a sponsor list. And it's like, oh man, but we're going through the things of, well, this is another thing. The unknowns is going to, and I'll let you all know that. Well, I'll wait. But anyway, there's a lot of things.
We have to sign NDA. Do we have to sign NDA?
No. We'll hold on to that. I'll make this announcement once it's in actual motion. But I need it to properly fund what we're doing, and not to say as the Black Eagle says, listen with your third ear. So that is getting in place. So some good things are happening, and trying to get sponsorships, people to donate product, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I gotta, ticket sales alone won't really do what I want to do. Right. I don't want to just pay for the event and then give them a couple $1,000s or something. I would love to give them something substantial. Right. So I'm going to be hitting up everybody. So I'm making my little pitch papers now and, figuring out the sponsor levels and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to pull whatever favor I have for people to hopefully help make this a success. So he and his buddy, they're going to be tasked with filming everything. Great. I mean, from Look, like the event is on Sunday. We're going to start Friday, and he gonna have to, we just gonna be everywhere we're going, everything we're doing, picture, film, video. I want it all captured. So
Love it.
we can have tons and tons and tons and tons of content for this.
That's beautiful.
So we can build up again. So next year, this won't be so hard.
Hey, the first time, once you get it done the first time, man, it's just wash, rinse, and repeat, man. So
yeah, this would be,
you got a great startup.
The biggest event.
Yeah,
this would be the biggest event I've ever done. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing,
man. So you're doing so much good things, and you're doing so much good things out there in the community. We just look at you in admiration. I think, like, wow, we're sitting back here like, I need to do something with my life to give back to the community. Like, you find time in the midst of all the stuff that you're doing, and you're dedicating as much of your time to give back, not making it about you, which promotes good karma. I think, it comes back on you in positive energy and blessings.
Yeah.
So
I do agree with that. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I really don't.
Oh man, hey, look. We see the receipts, man. You're doing enough. Listen, man. Between what you do from the community work with the unknowns and getting that out there, like I said, man, there is nobody else doing what you're doing on that note with the unknowns. And another question that I had for you real quick was talk to me about Carter's Barbecue, because I kind of watched your journey there where you getting the trailer, getting the pit, just taking a step out on faith and going ahead and getting that business going. Because look, man, you invested some serious money to get that thing rolling. And I've seen the lines that you have on, with the folks coming out to get your food. Talk to me about that and the process with that.
No, we paid all them. We paid all them. No, well, just like anything, man. I had the little Carter. Well, no, Carter's Barbecue wasn't really Carter's Barbecue yet. But on Facebook, I would make some ribs or cook some food. We post stuff, right? And people be like, "Oh, that look good," or this and that. And one of the things, though, I was pretty serious about my ribs. Like the rub I use now took about 2 years to make, and the sauce was about 1.5 years to get to where I wanted it to be. Because you just started cooking stuff, and I always loved barbecue, but just like some of the stories I heard in the intro, just the same. I used to see my dad do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He was the man. It was only on holidays. We were up north. We weren't down south, so there were no pits. I wasn't doing hogs. You know what I'm saying? It was an old 55-gallon barrel grill that he cut himself and made a smoker. Well, it wasn't even a smoker. It was all hot and fast. The ribs we had to tenderize in vinegar water the night before because they were just going to be flipped, in the morning. But just the seasoning of it, just to watch them over there just sweating like crazy, everything. But with the people's response, to eating it, William, this is good, William, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I always wanted to do that, grow up, have a family, cook for the holidays, right?
Right.
Then I got a bug, you start seeing pit masters, the competition shows.
That one.
About low and slow flavor profiles. I'm like, well, what is this? I can't remember when I did my first rub type mixture. It had almost a pound of freaking brown sugar, dude. It was the worst. I had so much brown sugar. It was anyway. But anyway, so it just got into it, and then I just started to get into the craft. I started to get a little bit serious about it. I said, oh, I want to see this. And so I started to cook a lot more. Got some different things, started to learn stuff from the pitmaster shows and other stuff, and just then I was really starting to get into a bit more. So at a time, my ribs, people are like, oh, my ribs better than yours. I was like, whatever, man. I was a little cocky, So some people's like, well, give me some. You buy some, I So then I was like, I told my wife one day, I was like, what the hell? You know what? Let's have a rib sale. I mean, people want to see what this is about. Let's have a rib sale. So we did our first official particular sale of rib dinners. I think it's about 60 orders that we took for the first time because everybody wanted, see what it was. About 60 dinners.
Wow.
Of our house, which of course, as we know, we're not supposed to do. And
Right.
sometimes you just got to start before you get legit. But you don't stay where you are. You get legit as soon as possible.
Elevate.
So that happened, and then my pastor, who I swear, man, if I could pay him to be my marketing guy, I love him. There is no other bigger supporter outside of my family than this man. And we had a banquet. He's like, why don't y'all, do the banquet for us? I'm like, I ain't never cooked for 60 folks. It was a small banquet. Okay. So I cooked the chicken, I cooked brisket, and I cooked ribs. And, my wife did some of the sides. And man, I mean, I came there sweating because food didn't, I didn't really know about the timing of everything. I was late. I was in there. It was bad. But one dude came. I was like, I heard you did the brisket. I said, yeah, man, I'm sorry. He said, that is the best brisket I've ever tasted.
All right.
There you go.
I was like, all right. So
My message.
I was like, okay. I told Teresa, I was like, we ain't doing this again ever. I was like, no, it was fun. It was fun. Then somebody called, hey, you doing another rib sale? I was like, Teresa, we doing another rib sale?
Yep.
So there it went.
There you go.
So from there, that kind of got a little movement to it. And so in 2020, we were going to be like, all right, cool. Let's bump this up. Let's do something. Let's kind of, get it out the house and do something better. COVID hit. So, we're both still working. Both of us, I mean, I was still working doing COVID. She worked from home. So it's just like, we just did it every so often. So it was like, all right, 2021 for real. We doing this. We know this is our my passion, and she's hanging on to it, which I love her for. But she supports it. Let's make it work. Let's bump it up. We're gonna do it. 2021, our real up and coming. Then I got my shoulder operated on, so I was out of work all year, which means I couldn't not only work, but I couldn't barbecue.
Oh man.
But during that time, we strategized a way to how are we going to make this work? Because it's not going away.
Right.
It's not going away. So we said, well, maybe we can get trailer, or maybe we can get, pull behind, smoker to do pop-ups or whatever. And she's like, pull behind, what you mean? I said, well, the smoker's out there. It may be covered, but we got a little refrigerator on it or something. But we would have to set up a tent and all that kind of stuff. She's like, and be outside? I said, yeah. She's like, you gonna do this in the winter, right? Because you don't never stop. I said, duh. She's like, no, we're getting a trailer because I ain't sitting outside. So I'm like, oh, okay.
It is Ohio, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, dude, I will shovel away to my pit before I shovel my driveway, okay? I ain't
Priorities. Priorities.
trying to tell you. So we was like, boom, okay, well, let's get a business loan. We had a friend of ours help us get the business plan together. We went to a local bank. And we bank with for years. And we only asked for like 30 grand. That would have gotten us the trailer, really, most of that, everything else. And this was their response. Let's see, can y'all see that? Well, y'all probably can't, but in other words, they said, no, we cannot. We are unable to give you the loan. Yes, I put this in here. This is my this is one of my motivations. This is my Jordan thing right here. This is my one of my motivations. So I was like, well, I gave him the finger that you're not supposed to, and gave him some explicitives. I was like, and that's when you really found out where your passions really lie. We didn't know what we were going to do at that point. Well, that's when we started doing some more research, and we found this one company that okay, we was going to do the pull along thing, you know. It was going to do the pull along thing, and it didn't cost too much money. We could pay for it out of pocket. I would have had to drive to Texas to get it though, but you know, we was like, okay, so we gonna do that. We gonna make it work, hook or crook. We gonna make it work, and I'm gonna show that bank that they can kick rock. And when I get enough, and that business is gonna be my personal money gonna be taken out of there, and so will my business money. So we were doing that, and then I talked to a friend of mine because she wanted to know how it went. The same young lady who helped me with the business plan. I said, well, they rejected us, saying this, and that, and this, and that. And I was like, really? I was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. So, and what we didn't understand was, you know, when my wife and I got married, I wasn't ready to get married, first of all, but I was terrible in finance. That's why she handles most of it now. But we had to do, I mean, it got so bad that I made us get into a point that we had to file for bankruptcy. But that was 20 years ago. We've been married 23 years, and that was like almost 20 years ago or more. But one of their reasons was, well, you had a bankruptcy. I'm like, dude, that was 27 years ago. Well, but your credit history hasn't been perfect. No shoot, Sherlock. I've been laid off. I hadn't had a job, you know, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. I said, but my score is almost 100 points more than what you have, what you want. And that was 20 years ago. It's like, well, the credit history. I said, wait a minute. Wait. I said, you will give somebody who has a score, their minimum was 585. You're going to give somebody a 585. They stuff is messed up now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I ain't trying to begrudge anybody. I'm not trying to be funny either, or just say somebody's right or wrong or indifferent. But if you're at that point right now, you're building. Right. I surpassed that point, and there is some stability there. So I was like, y'all full of crap. You know I said,
the crazy part about that, Darren, if you wanted a $75,000 car, they'd have gave it to you.
Yeah.
No problem. High interest rate, but I can get it.
Yeah, but now the fact that you were going to be buying into something that was going to be generating that type of income.
They don't want that.
And see, that's a question, and this comes to who we are a lot. And I've seen this on Instagram a lot, but it's true. You will give me tens of thousands of educational loans, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000. You know, I got to pay back or whatever, but you won't give me a $20,000 business loan. What's wrong there?
Because they don't want you to be an entrepreneur. That's why.
Well, we all know the school system is set up to work for workers. So,
workers and soldiers. They're great at making workers and soldiers, cogs in the machine.
Right. So with that, she told us about crowdfunding. And I was like, I ain't doing no GoFundMe because I don't want nobody to give me no handout. I want to work for whatever. You know, I'm not that type of guy. But then there was another thing around here called, what was it? I can't even think about it now. But anyway, they are regional. They're crowdfunding, but their max was not what we needed. We needed upwards to $40,000, you know, to get what we wanted to get. And I think they capped at 8,500 or something like that in our region. So Kiva. So that didn't work for us. And then we found out about investment crowdfunding, but for a part of your company. And I was like, we don't even know what our company's worth. So, but I ain't giving you no part of my company now. I'm just starting. No, that's, you know, wait till I'm mega mill and something, you know what I'm saying? And we can help me expand or something. Then we'll think about that for equity. Yeah. But there is this group called Honeycomb. They were fairly new. And it is an investment crowdfunding source. Nobody that invests in you has equity in your company, but what they do is they get a return on their investment. So whatever our rate was, that rate goes to them. So their rates run from 8.5 to 12. You know, 12 is high, yes. 10, 11 is high, yes. So I think our rate was like 10.25 or something like that. But we were able to crowdfund investing by people investing in us. And I cried like a baby all through the whole campaign. It was like a month and a half. We raised about $29,000 in total to us was like 29,000. That was able to put the down payment on the smoker. I mean, on the trailer right away, and put the down payment on the smoker right away. And the rest at that point we were just using for working capital as we went through. When the trailer was ready, we did have to take out, because we didn't, with this type of, or any type of crowdfunding, you push to get your max, but you get what you get.
Right. Yeah.
And I am appreciative to everyone that thought, and this is a thing, dude. People from high school was dropping money on me that we ain't talked in years, but they, you never know who's following you. You never know what's seeing you doing, right? That's what my mother always says. It's always nice to be nice, because you never know.
Yeah, it's true.
And I try to my best to live like that, but I falter sometimes, But yeah, I mean, my biggest contributor was some dude. I don't even know who he was, but he got us to a point. There's a minimum and a max. Our minimum was 20,000. So if we reach 20,000, anything after that is, 20,000 plus was ours. If we never reached that 20, then everybody got their money back. It was a faulted campaign at that point. Right. So we had 20 to 40. So when we were at 15 one night, and this dude just dropped 5, and I'm like,
oh wow.
I personally sent people emails. I should have wrote him, because it would have been all my tears crying while I sent it.
A lot of smeared ink.
I wasn't ready. Thank you.
And I mean, it was just, wow, these people, and here again, one of my very first investors was my pastor.
Wow.
I mean, his wife, and who actually was my very first customer from Carter's Barbecue. Wow. And if he ever is at where I am, he just, I don't know. He just needs a microphone and just needs to continue, because he's very supportive of what we do. Yeah. He said, well, first of all, I ain't gonna do it if it ain't good. So, it's good. And I'm very appreciative about that. Him and other people, everybody in my family, people that share anything that we do and speak on what we do. It's a blessing, because you want people to love what you do. Everybody's not, but you at least want the majority to, Right. So we took out another little loan to get everything back. Now my smoker, I have to recoup that first deposit, because that gentleman ghosted me, unfortunately. So I never got my initial smoker that we put a down payment on. Thankfully, here again, I work at the steel mill. So I was like, we got a lot of fabricators here. Let me see if anybody knows how to make a smoker. Why, by golly, somebody did. And he is the gentleman that, he is the gentleman that did the one that I have now that you all see on my page.
Wow.
So more expensive. So that was more money in the pocket. But I mean, overall better. I mean, I was able to go to his house. He doesn't live far from where we do. I saw it. I saw him working on the process. This other guy, I would have to beg to just try to maybe get an update. So unfortunately, we had to go to the court system to recoup what we've lost from him. But all things will work out however they work. Yeah. But then I got the smoker. But with that, we were able to refinance everything. Just recently we got a community. It's called ECDI up here in Cleveland. We got a community loan, and we got a lower rate and a 10-year payback. So it paid off Honeycomb. It paid off the other little loan. So now it's more manageable for us to do the business, to have some working capital and to move forward. So it is without Honeycomb, though, that none of that would have been possible. So anytime I ever get a chance to toot their horn, nothing's perfect. It's like a marriage. You can be in love 80% of the time, but there's 20% you just like, will you just go somewhere? Nothing's perfect. Everybody has in their new company, so they have things to work out. But like I said, if it wasn't for that particular tool to use, Carter's Barbecue wouldn't be up and running like it is today. So I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful for the people that thought and believed in us and believed in the dream of what we wanted to do. But I just do believe they see the passion. I do believe they just saw this is what I really love to do, and it's gonna work. I'm gonna work it whichever way that I can.
Oh yeah.
So Yeah, and here again, I cried like a baby. The people that wrote some, they asked people to, write why they invested, and some of these people. I mean, yeah. It's
Good.
It's a blessing.
It was a moment. It was moments. So,
Hey, Darren, if I could circle back to the unknowns, it's obviously a fantastic thing that you're doing, and it's right up my alley. Again, because shining light on us, and this is our thing. It's our culture. With all that being said, have you received any pushback? Because a lot of times people were like, "Oh, why are you only highlighting these people?" And anytime we make a stride, certain people want to snatch us back and throw shade on it. Have you received any pushback about what you're doing?
For the unknowns, not yet. I do expect the more it grows, that our community grows, and maybe people we align ourselves with. But it's going to happen. For Carter's Barbecue, it has. And this is funny because so I don't know. There was this sound from a guy named Curtis King on the interwebs, on the internet. I mean Instagram, and he just had this sound, and he was like, "Don't support me because I'm not asking for your support because I'm a Black business. I'm not asking for your something because I'm a Black business. What I am asking for your support is because I have a superior product. I have a superior product and whatever, and I'm a Black business." So, and we excuse me. So at the time of me posting that, and all I did was I was in my trailer and I had video, I try to video some things to try to make content, everything is content. Everything is content.
Yeah.
You heard that one, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just seasoning up some ribs, and I, hold one of them up, and I put that sound to it. Now, I had at that time, I didn't even break 1,000 with Carter's Barbecue followers. I didn't even have 1,000. At this point, that particular video has been viewed over 1.4 million times.
All right.
And I have over 23,000 followers now because of that video. But what it also did was bring out the shenanigans.
Oh, Lord.
Why does it have to be a Black-owned business? You want. Why can't it be? If I said if it was a white business, well, what if it was an orange and yellow business? Other businesses don't say. They just went on and on, and for some people, this is what I do. I Teresa tells me not to, contact and talk back. I don't do it. I was like, dude, I'm like, well, why does it have to be a Black-owned business? I said, first of all, if you saw my trailer, all I got is my big head on there. Me and my wife, it's Black owned.
For real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So we're not keeping it a secret.
Right.
No. Yeah. One dude was like, I was all supportive until you said Black-owned business. Black-owned business was like the fourth word. So how much of a support were you of me at that point?
Man.
So I'm tripping, right? So some people I'll be like, well, and this is what I've always done when we get into these type of things. Says I have a Twitter page. And I don't know, it's my dark place. It's where I kind of anyway. Yeah. And so people try to talk back or whatever. I'm like, well, let's have an open conversation. Let's make a phone call or Zoom. I'm open to it. Let's doing this thread thing, being a keyboard gangster. That's doesn't. Let's talk. Obviously nobody wants to do that, right?
Of course.
Exactly.
But yeah, I've had, but you know what? I've also had backlash from Black people.
Oh yeah.
I had this one photographer say that he wouldn't have the clients that he had if he would mention himself as a Black-owned business. And
Good for you.
he is a award-winning such and such a photographer. I'm like, I'm sorry, but but this is the bed I built, and this is where I sleep.
Right.
And this is just what I do. It's obvious, but anytime Black is spoken,
Ooh.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But it's funny because okay, I'm not going there.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's a safe space.
It's a safe black
It's
space.
weird how that ruffles so many feathers, but then it's so disregarded. We have a current self-imposed musical genius who has said things, wore shirts that didn't say Black Lives Matter, but it had the opposite color, and said things of being, being held against your own will is a choice, and other type of things. But he never got dropped by none of his companies until recently.
Yeah, he was allowed to spew all the anti-black,
all
foolishness that he wanted.
Yeah.
But that's our fault.
Yeah, partially,
collectively.
Yeah.
Because we should all come together. And again, let me just step up on my soapbox. I'm gonna step right back off. We have the power collectively to always say you got to teach people how to treat you.
Right.
Yep.
And we allow ourselves to be treated however they choose, any old kind of way.
As long as we get something.
As long as we get something, as long as we're entertained, you understand? We're going to have to find some way to come together collectively and stand on it like a rock. No one should be able to insult us as a people. No one should be able to assault us as a people without feeling the absolute full power of our community breathing down their neck.
Like everywhere else.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And now I'm stepping down.
Thank you for that.
Keep on standing, because I encourage people that may be listening to this when it airs. If you have Sirius XM, keep your. I know sports is cool. I know music is cool, but every so often turn to Sirius XM 126. It is the Urban View channel. You got in the morning the Black Eagle.
Joe Madison, that's my man.
What's his name? I can't think of his name now.
Joe Madison.
Joe Madison. Thank you. And from there, 10 o'clock, you got Laree Daniel Favors, who I love her. Then you got the fastest hour on radio. You got Heather B. From there, after that, you got Clay Kane, who's always dropping some type of knowledge. And then of course, my favorite, that's why I started, was Karen Hunter for the drive time. I mean, you learn and get such a great perspective, and hopefully ammunition to use to help build these type of things, because these are the questions that are being asked and resolutions that are trying to be built up, because you can't call Joe Madison without him saying, what are you going to do about it? You see what I'm saying? Enough of us complaining, what are we going to do about it? So yeah, I mean, would that do? Cool, whatever. We don't. Then we got the other people. I don't give a f what you are. As long as it's good food. It's good food. So cool. I'm glad you support. Yeah, but you know what the most offensive stuff was? Now, this was the most offensive stuff. That somebody said I was using store-bought seasoning. That was the most offensive to me.
Rightfully so.
As it should be. As it should be.
It was like, you ain't doing nothing special. All you got is that store-bought seasoning. Now, I am assuming here, to try not to be a butt, but I'm assuming here, because my pork and chicken rub, is mostly the all-purpose one. The one I do on my ribs and pork, it does have a reddish color. It's reddish. So I'm assuming they think it's seasoning salt because I also got a whole bunch of other things. How about less seasoning and more meat? You're killing our people. All that salt. So many people was like, that's so much salt. I said, well, I don't know how you got the recipe to my homemade rub,
Right.
but it is very low in sodium. And if you want to, you can buy one and click, do the click link in the bio and buy yourself and try it.
Talking all that stuff and ain't
Right.
tasted a bite, right?
They don't know. I mean, I'm like,
Nothing.
that baffled me right there. Then I had one dude slip my DMs and just told me how I should cook these ribs, right?
What?
Not that I haven't toiled. I need to cook them the Texas way. So you need to get oak and this, and you need to get some lime and lemons and throw them in the fire, and you need to do just pepper, garlic. I'm like, dude, that'd be not even being me. I'm like,
everybody has
you get those things, man. It's a lot of positive though. Like I said, it's a lot of positive because of that video, because of that freaking sound. I went from about 960 followers in about 3 days. It reached 10K.
That's awesome.
And then it's like I can't. But I'm thankful for it. Because as I'm going to submit, as I'm going to submit these sponsorship packages, I can at least say, over my social media channels where this can be broadcast and publicized and thanked, and send out, whatever. I at least got over 30,000, over all of them. I got about at least 30,000 followers. So it's not a lot, but it still could be influential. You know what I'm saying? And the most right now is Carter's Barbecue. So, that would, and I'm hoping it would help with the brand. So, things happen for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who knew that would have? I thought I wanted the one with the life, me being all poetic and, going by my trailer, talking about living life. I wanted that one to go viral. But, here's the algorithms, right?
Yeah,
Here's the algorithms.
You never know what's gonna hit. Probably my least favorite video on YouTube is my biggest hit. And I say that, but it's also my favorite because that's the one that's in the check every month. That video,
all right now.
That video,
there you go.
It won't die, and I hope it never does. Because
once it gets past, I think once it gets past a certain threshold, it just keeps popping up.
It's in perpetuity at that point. Like that video is not gonna die.
But it did. I did see all my other reels as well, though, grow. They weren't mega like that. Maybe it was at, a couple of hundred and it's at maybe 8,000 views or something like that. So it did trickle down, because sometimes people do stroll, look.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the question I hate. Where are you located? Or you should show us the finished product. Well, if you click my bio, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. One. If you look at my feed, you'll see my finished ribs and everything else. It's just a little bit of research, a little bit more thumbscrolling.
You could have written out every detail in there, Darren, and they were still going to ask you those same questions.
Yep.
That's one thing I learned about people on social media, and people may get upset with me for that, but no one ever reads. They're going to, and then 500 people are going to ask you the same 3 questions. Well, where is it? How much is it? What's this? Well, I'm like, it's all laid out for you right here. Like, just read the caption. But they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. No, everything has to be handed to people these days. I
hate that.
It has to be served up, shoved in their face, and if not, they're quite confused.
And that's why we're in the problems that we're in, because people aren't doing the research and the reading they need to do for things that affect us in our livelihoods. They're living on sound bites and
Memes.
rally calls and all that kind of stuff. And you got to do better. You got to do better, and it's our folk too.
Sure,
you know
it is.
Definitely. You got to do better. So,
hey, well, Darren, I tell you what, the ideas that you have, from Carter's Barbecue to the fundraising to the unknowns. I mean, you're somebody that takes small ideas and really just plants them, and that seed just blossoms. I mean, you get daggone trees out of those things, man. And we appreciate what you're doing for the community, for the
Absolutely.
barbecue community, for the Black barbecue community, for the community overall, man. And do me a favor, tell everybody where they can find you at.
Well, on IG, you can find us at Carter's Barbecue 216. You forgot the BBQ there.
Oh,
It's Carter's BBQ 216. That's all right. And then the Unknowns Black Pitmasters. Facebook is the same. Carter's Barbecue BBQ 216. And then also on Facebook is the Unknowns Black Pitmasters. It's a group you can apply to join to get in. Those, that's where I live mostly, and if you ever wanted to find out anything, just look up Darren W. Carter, and, that'll get you where it needs to be. Because if you find one page of mine, you can find the rest. You can find the rest. Yeah.
Yes,
Good
it was
deal.
You
awesome
guys,
having you on, man.
look, thank you for coming. See, I didn't switch roles.
You used to be the host, right? Love that.
Yeah, I mean, I when I first heard out about it, I was like, oh, this is just great. I was like, I can't, because here, trying to be a YouTuber first, I can hear people that are actually killing the game, but then you're collectively getting yourselves together and talking about those issues there on YouTube, because every platform has their issues, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, all of them, they all get their issues. And it's great to see people that are doing things that are getting monetized for it. So, a lot of us need help, and you all are resources. You all are, first of all, you're doing some killer food, and it's just, amazing. And from the group, I haven't got a chance to meet you all yet, but Killer Miller came, to take his father to the game, and we got a chance to meet. None of this would have happened without the unknowns. It just wouldn't, and it just boggles my mind. And I am so grateful that I get a chance to be in a group of a company like you gentlemen and everybody else that we've gotten a chance to talk to, and those to come. It amazes me. I'm just waiting to go outside, and I don't know, maybe not be real or something. I don't know, because it is just, it's amazing. You guys are some amazing people. Y'all doing some great things, and I am just happy. I'm just happy to be a part of it, man. Just happy to follow along with you.
Thank you, man. And thank you for the work that you do, man. Because I'm telling you, it's you're hitting on something that has not been touched. And like you say, even though, because we all think the same thing, we all look at it from this aspect of, this one small production that we're doing, but that content that you have reaches the masses and it gets the stories out there. And you, in the end, what you're doing is much bigger than one person, and you're giving yourself to the world, man. And we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
With y'all help, we'll continue moving forward. Now, T, I ain't heard from you all night. I can't get out of here without hearing something from T. Come on now. I heard from everybody else.
What I would like to say is, I've noticed 2 times in your stories that you've been in situations where the outcome has been something to show you that you have a purpose, and your purpose has always been shown to you for other people. So I want to applaud you for that. And one, where you were talking about the making the obituaries, and then coming across the unknowns and wondering, well, where are the Black unknowns? So I for anybody listening, we come across these different situations and different things where it's shown us that we have purpose. And what you're doing, you're reaching people, you're getting stories out, and I really applaud you for that. I was sitting here like a kid in the candy store, just listening to all this. I'm just like, wow, story after story, and and you're so humble about it. I really appreciate that humbleness about it. And then you say that you feel like you haven't done enough, and you're doing a lot, but that's still a good place to be. because you it's never enough, you know. It's like it's more that I can be doing, it's more that I can be doing, it's more that I need to be doing. And so I really appreciate that message, and that's really resonated with me, and it's reminding me that, you know, it's enough, but it's never enough, because there's more people we can reach, it's more people we can connect with, and it's more people that need to hear our stories, and it's more people's stories that we need to share with other people.
That's right. That's right.
Amen, brother.
Grow
Thank
that
you.
network. Yes.
For
Yes.
real. And we are nothing without the collective, and we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. Sometimes it seems like a daunting task. Anybody a Stargate fan here? SG1 fan? And then I'm gonna let you go.
Oh yeah.
Now, do you remember later on in the series, maybe like the last 2 or 3 seasons, where Tilk was in a game, his mind was stuck in a game, and one of the things he couldn't get out because they was gonna get him out or he's gonna be killed because he got killed in the game. He got killed for real. He couldn't get out, and what they perceived was the reason that he wasn't winning is because he didn't believe that he could win it. In other words, because he was in captive so long, you know, he was being there, you know, what was it? No, we were the Tari. What were they? The Jafar.
Jafar, yeah.
He was a Jafar for so long and you know, served as a captive for so long. In his mind, he didn't believe that he could win. That's us. A lot of times we don't believe that we can win, no matter how much faith we got in whatever particular God people serve. I mean, I just look at our Christendom here. If we say we believe a God that is of God of all things, that is God of possible, if you have faith just that of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain. I mean, people nowadays be like, oh, that's just, you know, parable talk from the old writs or whatever. But if you just think about it, if you really get in this break shackles of yourself and really put your mind to do what you can do, we probably could do just so much more and free ourselves.
Oh yeah.
You know, free ourselves of old hurts, free ourselves of emotional, because this is what I'm finding out. The reason a lot of times we ain't going forward, well, a lot of that is generational depression, and that just comes down.
Yeah.
It's almost like we just born to that. We're born into that generational depression. But just, you know, life in itself, soul ties and just bad generational things just continue to go, and nobody wants to break the cycle. Nobody wants to endure the pain, because it's going to be painful to break that cycle. But we need cycle breakers, man. We need people that's going to sacrifice the hurt to get healed.
Yes.
You know, and that's from anything. I mean, we got so many childhood traumas. We got family secrets that's killing us. You know what I'm saying? We got things that we won't move out because of fear. Oh, if I do that, maybe that. But you know what I'm saying? It's just we're just so hell bent. And then, you know, that's just all of us as humans. But now we got the fact that, you know, we're descendants of slaves, and we're dealing with that issue because we're already knocked down 5 pegs, because when we come in, we look like we look.
Yep.
And some people just be like, I'm not pushing it. But we gotta push. That's why I believe representation is everything. We need to be seen doing great things in every area of our lives.
That's right.
Because I never thought I could try to pull off something. I mean, the young boy, I read this story the other day. I'm gonna let you go for real. The young boy that touched former President Barack Obama's hair. He's going to college now, political science major or something. I mean, that moment, you know what I'm saying, just catapulted his future because there was representation. Exactly. That's what we need. So that's why I'm like, dude, I don't, and no shade to anybody else. I want representation in the Latin community. I want, because they are brown too. I want everybody that has, you know, has not been male and white to have representation that they need to have. You know what I'm saying? But I'm focusing on my community. That's my focus. I'm not meant to be focused on other things. You can hop on and come along, and that's great, and that's wonderful, because we're better together than not. But I'm focused on my community. Okay,
And I,
Hey,
I don't want to
It'd be-
spotlight that too, because when there's always a conversation, why does it have to be black and why does it have to be black and brown? The real question is, why does it have to be? Because from the beginning, it's like we're excluded out of stuff.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the
And why does it
problem.
bother you? Why
Right.
does it bother you?
Because
You know?
they know we dope.
Right.
And we
Oh,
can't
yeah.
help it. And we can't help it, damn it.
You can't help it.
Don't want to help it.
We woke
Don't
up like
wanna
this.
So I'm cool because our lineup,
That's right.
it's melanated.
That's right.
Some people are gonna have issue with that.
Let them.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
But-
brother, that's their problem.
There you
right,
go.
right.
That's their
Yeah.
problem.
Let God deal with
I'm
it.
here to give you guys some of the best barbecue around and to raise money for children in need. So if you're going to let what you see in front of you deter you from that, and you say you believe in all that, then I question your beliefs. But
Mhm.
I'm just trying to do what I need to do.
Man.
So okay, I'm done for real now.
On that note, I believe that it's time for the benediction. Oh, man. So, guys, it's been an awesome show. Thank you, Darren Carter, for coming on. And I mean, this has been a fellowship. We were thinking we were going to talk about barbecue, but Lord, we went in so many levels. I appreciate that. We appreciate you, and keep doing what you're doing. Everybody out there, listen to this, learn from it, spread the word, click the links, share them. All you gotta do is share. And always remember to bet on black. This is the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. We out.